From weekend getaways to extended road trips, California is full of places to explore. And for over 100 years, the Auto Club has been there to help. Our travel agents offer you expertise regarding destination information, trip planning and reservations, either in office, on the phone, or online. Across the state, throughout the country, or around the world, through all life's travels, we're always with you.
Road Trip has been made possible by the Automobile Club of Southern California.
It's some of the most beautiful countryside in California, with trees, lots of oaks, rolling hills, high mountains, and to get from place to place, you don't even have to be on the interstate either. Most of the highways here are two-lane, like good old Highway 49, which goes right through Gold Country and connects those great little historic Gold Rush towns. Now, we were heading to one of those towns, and we were excited, because this one was not only filled with rich Gold Rush history, but there was a lot of steam there, too. Historic steam. And as we pulled into town on Main Street, which just happens to be old Highway 49, we were ready. We'd be spending 2 days in Jamestown on a road trip. Okay, time has passed. It is now the next morning after a wonderful night's sleep here in Jamestown. We've gotten up bright and early, and Steve, early in Gold Country means 8:30, doesn't it?
That's quite early in the Gold Country, absolutely.
I can tell because when we drove in yesterday afternoon, the town was packed with cars. It's not even filling up quite yet, but you want it to fill up with traffic.
And it will fill up today, about 10 o'clock.
Okay.
When the shops all open, and virtually the whole town will be open, the street will be full, and here come the people.
All right, this is my favorite time. In the morning when the sun is rising, it's kind of empty out here. We're standing in the middle of Main Street right now.
We are in the middle of Main Street. We are, in fact, standing on what used to be the old highway.
Okay,
yes.
Now let's talk just for a minute about Jamestown itself. Is this one of those typical Gold Country California towns?
This is actually one of the first.
This used to be a big, hustling, bustling town, didn't it?
In the beginning, they say about 5,000, mostly males, not a lot of women in the early days.
Yeah.
And then it became families.
And they were looking for gold in the old days.
Looking for gold.
All right, now the town is not that big now. It's about what?
Oh, if you count, if you stretch out your arms a ways, we can go do 3,000 people.
All right, so it's about half the size it was at its peak back during the gold rush.
That's it.
And it looks old-timey, and a lot of the buildings are old, but a lot of them, just like in most gold rush towns, burned down over the years. These towns burn down all the time.
They burn down and they burn up. But yes, they do. Unfortunately, lots of the buildings have disappeared. But we still have a few of them.
And we're standing in front of one of them right now. This is where we spent our night last night. This hotel, the National Hotel, was established in 1859. Now, most of the original hotel is still there, but some of it burned too over the years.
There have been 2 fires here, but we've brought it back and restored it, and it pretty much looks the way it did in the 1800s, except for modern conveniences.
Yeah, I got to tell you, we shot some footage last night in the bar area and in the dining room area and around the inside of the hotel. It's the real thing, isn't it? You didn't bring in some interior design person from down in L.A. or San Francisco to gussy it up. This is the way it was and is.
It was and is, and it's been a slow restoration. It's been a period of 36 years of restoring it, little by little, as we went along. And think of John Wayne and Clint Eastwood in the movies. That's the way it would have looked in the beginning.
But John Wayne and Clint Eastwood never stayed here. Every old hotel I visit or saloon in California claims that John Wayne came in there and had a drink at one time or another. John Wayne never came here, did he?
No, and quite frankly, we don't have any records. I don't know how the others managed to salvage such records, We have no records of who stayed here. Have we had a lot of notables here? Yes. In the 36 years I've been here, a lot of film stars in the movies and such. But we don't write it down. We don't keep track. And
You have a lot of happy people here who come here on a regular basis because they like the old-timey feeling, not only of your hotel, the National Hotel, but of Jamestown in general. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this.
We have a lot of regulars here, a lot of people who just thoroughly enjoy history.
You had a question.
I understand there's a ghost town near Jamestown.
Not so much a ghost town. There's a lot of towns that have ghosts. in
This hotel
area.
has a ghost.
Has a ghost. That's right. And there's several ghosts buildings in this town that have ghosts. If that's what you're referring to, we can sure help send you to them.
But you're looking for a ghost town. Is there a ghost town around here?
Not a ghost town. The closest would be on the other side of the Sierras, would be Bodie. But that's 3 hours drive from here.
You get a lot of questions like this.
We get a
don't you?
lot of questions
What do
like this.
people ask?
People want to know particularly where they can find gold. Because the geologists say that 90% is still in the ground. So we just tell them to watch your feet, watch where you're walking, because you never know where. Just a mile from here was a 65-pound nugget was found a few years ago.
You know what?
That's
if I were you, I would forget about the ghost town and start looking for the gold.
I think that we should concentrate on the gold.
And we got a couple right over here from Arizona. You're getting ready to take off. Thumbs up. We found the local. What's it like to live in Jamestown?
It's fabulous.
You're surrounded by history?
I'm surrounded by history. I got like gold mines down the hill from my house.
Oh, so you're one of those guys still looking for gold?
No. There's abandoned gold mines down the hill from my house.
So you're surrounded by gold. You're also surrounded by, hey fellas, dogs. This is a dog town.
You can't live in the country and not have dogs.
There they go, down Main Street. A man and his dogs. You gotta have dogs here in Gold Country. It's definitely not a chain store. It's the real thing. It looks like one of a kind. Look at this. This is old school. This is an old school bookstore. And here's Mr. Old School himself. Your name, sir?
My name's Charlie Morangio, and
Okay,
welcome
you run
to Charlie's Books and Galleria.
I like the sound of it. It's old school, and you've got a whole little California Gold Rush section in the back of the store. What have you got here?
I specialize in Gold Rush history. I even supply most of the museums. And, you know, I have a picture of Jamestown in the early days.
Boy, those are the early days.
Yeah, and it was the first place in the county to get gold in 1848.
A year before the rest
big
of the
rush, yeah.
So this was the original gold town.
And they called it the Queen of the Southern Mines.
Do you have a lot of people coming in here wanting to read up on Jamestown and this area?
Well, I have people from all over the world come through here, just like in the old days when the 1849, people came from all over the world.
They're still coming here.
Yeah, I even have a whole section on the ethnic groups having to do with the British, the French, all the different people that came here.
Books by dead guys. What's that all about?
Well, the people that put this together, what they did is they got the pictures and they identified the pictures. That's all they did. The rest of the information is diaries or from newspapers of the time. So it's people of 1849 who are long dead. So actually they're the authors of the book.
Books by dead guys.
Does that make sense?
You know what? This is wonderful. This is a throwback too. It makes sense that a store like this is here on Old Highway 49 going right through Jamestown.
There's a lot of history around here, including Joaquin Murrieta was around this area. And you probably, your viewers know that they ended up killing him in 1853 and putting his head in a jar, which they took around on tour, and people paid to see the head of Joaquin Murrieta and the fingers of Three Fingers Jack.
See, I thought I was going to come in here to find out a little bit of Gold Rush history. I didn't know I was going to find out this much about Gold Rush history. But it's all part of the story.
It's all part of the story. There were lawmen, gunslingers. There were all kinds of people coming up this way.
Right here on Main Street in Jamestown sits this this is my favorite building in town. 1897, it's called the Emporium, and this building definitely makes a statement. Looks like it's full of history. Well, inside, we quickly discovered the Emporium was filled with history. It was built back in 1897 as a mercantile store and has been owned and operated by the same family for years. A lot of history, and it was also filled with a lot of stuff. I'm not exactly sure how to describe it, but as you can see, it's a little bit of everything. Trust me, for people who love places like this, the Emporium just kind of sucks you in. You could spend hours here just looking. We found some customers over here looking at
some old antique oil lamps.
Well, everything in here is an antique.
Well, real collectibles.
So are you thinking about, are you just looking, or are you looking and buying, or are you just hanging out?
A little of both, looking and buying some things.
And this is something you do, oh boy, look out over here. It's absolutely beautiful. Mm-hmm. You're used to coming in here.
Yes, yeah, we've been in here a couple of times before this, and I look at old Western memorabilia.
Uh-huh.
That's what I like to collect. And
where are you from?
Sacramento.
So it's not that long a drive for y'all to come up here.
No, it's not. It's a short drive up here, yeah.
What do you like so much about Jamestown and about places like this?
Because I like Old Town, like Folsom Town, mm-hmm. Jamestown. Mm-hmm. We're staying at Angels Camp, so we come just about every year.
So you like this atmosphere.
Right. Even though we can't afford sometimes, but we'd like to come and look.
Before we leave, we stayed last night right across the street at the Old National Hotel. You keep a few lights on here at night after you close just to kind of tempt future customers, don't you?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. And I looked right across, and I looked right up there and saw that raggedy old bear. Is that bear for sale?
No, the bear's not for sale.
Why not?
Well, you really can't sell a bear in California, and he's oversees the things that goes on in the street.
And he looks a little raggedy, too.
Yeah, he's been around here for 20 plus years. I'm not sure where my brother acquired him at, but...
Just 20? He looks older than that.
Yeah, well, 20 that I'm aware of, but I'm sure he was here longer.
But you know what? He adds character to the place.
Lots of people like, especially little kids like the bear.
See, I'm a sucker for bears like that. I'm a sucker for just about everything in your store. I'm the kind of person you like to see come in, aren't you?
Yeah.
Do you think you're going to be able to sell me something?
Oh, I don't know. Make a try. How big of a truck do you have?
Okay, we've come to this beautiful little park here right in the middle of town. And Steve, this is an example of something beautiful, literally rising up out of the ashes.
It certainly is. It's Rocca Park, R-O-C-C-A. Used to be a wonderful two-story buildings here. The old wooden style restaurants, bar, etc. here.
I bet it burned down.
It burned in 1966, and we were very fortunate that the owners donated the land to the people to be a park.
So the owners donated
They donated it.
Wow, this is a beautiful little park with a gazebo, which, I'm just thinking what you do in the gazebo. Well, you have concerts?
We have concerts of types. We have weddings here, receptions, parties, and it's every little town should have a central focal point with a park, and we're fortunate to have it.
So this little park celebrates the history of Jamestown in its own way, even though the old buildings aren't here anymore on this location.
In its own way, it does celebrate that, and it gets a lot of use.
Okay, we're behind the gazebo, and Steve, settle down. I know it's hard for you because this is your pride and joy. It's Jamestown's pride and joy. We are standing in front of what?
It's the Jamestown Branch Jail that dates back to 1897 and was given away. It was in the late 1950s, And
What do you mean given away?
it was sent down for those people who live down in the valley in the Stockton and Lodi area will remember Pollardville. The Pollard family took the jail, took it apart, took it down there, reassembled it.
What was it, a theme park?
A theme park. It was an old-fashioned theme park.
So what, they took your jail because it wasn't being used anymore?
It had fallen into disuse, and the county had no need for it. They saw it as a liability.
So it went down to where?
To Pollardville. In the Central Valley off of Highway 99 between Stockton and Lodi.
And how long did it stay down there?
It stayed down there until 2007.
And how did it get back here?
Well, I found it back in the 1990s, and I'd been heard many stories that it was in Pollardville, and I eventually paid a visit there, met the owners, and I would bug them every year. I would bug them and say, if and when you're ready to close this park or give it back, we would love to have it.
We want our jail back.
And in November of 2007, I got a phone call, and they said, you can have the jail back.
How did you get the jail back to Jamestown?
Well, there was a catch. They said you have to have it out of here by April of 2008. And we formed a committee, set a budget of $70,000, which we thought could do it. And half of it was $35,000 was for transportation, and we had house movers.
So you moved it back
with the help of a lot of volunteers, including the clampers, and took all the brick off it and brought it back up here in 2 sections.
And restored it.
And restored it. It's all been totally restored.
Now,
and
this is the way it looked originally when it opened back in
1897.
What kind of architecture do you call this? Early jail?
I would say it's
California?
late 1800s jail.
Early California jail.
California. It's a wooden jail with the brick facade.
So the brick's on the outside, the wood's on the inside.
The wood's on the inside.
We're getting ready to go inside.
And what made it easier for them to take apart was that in the 1800s, the mortar was very soft, and that made it easy to disassemble it. You wouldn't want to try and disassemble it now because we've used modern mortar.
Yeah, this is a sturdy jail now, and we're going inside. We're inside the old Jamestown branch jail, and boy, I gotta tell you, Steve, this place is dark, it's dingy, it smells like an old jail.
Yeah, it is an old jail. That it is, and there were no fringes here. They received nothing but just the basics.
Yeah, this is as basic as it gets.
It's basic.
You want to see basic? Come here and look in here. Here are the 2 cells, and look what we got in here. This is boy, this is basic. Yeah. Now, is this original wood?
This is original wood. The entire wooden structure is original. The walls, in this case, are over 12-inch thick.
Wow, this is just amazing to be in here. And this is original.
This is original. Everything in here in this jail is original, except for a couple small areas that we had either some wood rot or whatever, and repairs had to be made.
And look at this. Their names and initials carved into the wood.
Carved in. Well, they had the time to do it.
So there are people watching this program who will recognize the names of some of their relatives.
Some of them would rather not probably recognize.
But you know what? I love that. That gives a real character.
That's real character.
And proves that this is the real thing.
It's the real thing. And not always did we have the very serious murderers and whatever. Often it was just somebody just carousing in the town a little too much, and they'd put them in here and just hold them overnight.
Well, back in the day, there was a lot of carousing around here.
There was a lot of carousing here. And rumor was that at later stages, there were times when they didn't even lock the jail. And when somebody sobered up enough to...
It's kind of like Mayberry.
That's right. And they figured out
they let themselves in and out.
In and out. And if they weren't sober enough to do that, then it was time to stay.
Wow, this is really an amazing place to be here. Congratulations not only to you, but to the whole town.
The town and the county for helping us out, and all the donors who provided for this.
It was here in 1897. It went to an amusement park down in the Central Valley, and now it's back.
It's back.
Better than ever.
Better than ever. And it's been rebuilt according to the blueprints.
But wait a minute. It's not open for business, is it?
No, it's not. Not yet.
We have left the old jail. We broke out of jail. We were heading back to Main Street. We were walking by the gazebo, and I looked inside the gazebo, and here they were. They were actually almost asleep on this bench. Your name, sir?
Ruben Lara.
Judy Lara.
And you all are from?
San Jose.
Now, you all have been to Jamestown before, haven't you?
Many times.
Why do you come here from San Jose?
It's relaxing. We enjoy the antique shops and the food places.
Yeah, but it's so stressful here.
Not hardly.
You can see that right now.
Yeah, has it changed much over the years?
No, it really hasn't. No.
So it's kept its character.
That's what we like. That's why we come.
You come because it's predictable,
Yeah,
low-key,
exactly.
historic.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That's it, exactly. We
Boy,
really
you're
enjoy it.
Smiling from ear to ear. You're just starting your weekend.
We're just starting out.
Now listen, I'm just going to leave you the way I found you a minute ago. Just lean back,
Okay.
nod off, relax. There they are. They're getting ready for a weekend in Jamestown. Thumbs up. Okay, our road trip continues. We are still in Jamestown. Actually, we're about 5 blocks from Main Street, Old Highway 49 in downtown Jamestown. And look what we have stumbled upon. Actually, we didn't stumble upon it. We knew it was going to be here. Kim, introduce yourself to everybody and tell everybody where we are, because this is the real thing.
This is the real thing. My name's Kim Baker, and I'm the park superintendent here at Railtown 1897 State Historic Park. And this roundhouse that you see behind us is a type of building that used to be found all over America during the steam age when we were running steam locomotives. And after steam locomotives were replaced by diesels, these type of buildings became sort of cumbersome to maintain and keep, and they weren't needed anymore, so most of them were torn down.
This one wasn't.
This one wasn't. And there are many reasons for that, but one of the primary ones is because Hollywood was still coming here to use these steam locomotives for filming. And so it was still lucrative to the company to be able to keep the roundhouse and the locomotives in it in operation.
Now, when you say the company, before it became a state historic park, this was an operating railroad line right here. This was a train company.
Yes, it was. This is part of the Sierra Railway, which started in 1897 to bring materials out of the foothills like lumber and marble and gold down into central California Bay Area. And it was lucrative over the years for many types of uses along those lines. And then around in the 1950s, when most of the country started switching to diesels, they moved their shops down to Oakdale, preserving this one here.
Kept this here.
And they kept it here.
And it became kind of a hotbed for filming of movies and television programs. And now it's a state historic park, which is absolutely spectacular. And let's make it clear to everybody, you didn't fix this place up to look old.
Nope.
This is the way it normally looks. What is this thing out? Well, this is where the engines would come on and then it would turn around, right?
Yes, and in fact, that is what we still use it for. In a few minutes, we'll be bringing the locomotive out, the Sierra number 3, which is steamed up in there right now. They're getting it up to steam. They'll bring it out onto the turntable here and turn it so they can get the locomotive on the main line.
So we're going to be able to see all of this. This is not some static museum.
Nope.
This is the real thing.
Yes. Actually, I had a visitor say to me recently, and I thought this was a very good assessment, this is like one of those farms, those working farms you go to, but it's all about locomotives, because on any given day you can see the crew working on the locomotive, you see them maintaining them, you see them repairing them, using the original equipment, and we have 3 original locomotives here.
Boy, you've got, I don't know, there's a lot to see and do here. You have lots of people come by to check this out?
Yes. Every day you come, it's something different going on, too.
Did we pick a good day?
You picked a great day.
We're inside the roundhouse, and Kim, you brought us in here for a reason. Boy, it has a totally different feel inside than outside.
Yes. It's inside here, you can see that we have 2 locomotives steamed up right now. There's a lot of smoke and steam, and you really feel sort of this sense of anticipation, something's going to happen. And this is what it would have been like. I mean, for 100 years, this sort of activity has been happening here.
Now, can tourists come in and see this kind of behind the scenes?
Yes. When we run steam locomotives on the weekends, people who come down early in the morning, 7, 8 o'clock, can watch the crews start to get the locomotives ready for the day.
This is as big a part of it as when it's actually running, just getting them steamed up.
Takes hours, and that's why steam locomotives, one of the reasons why they were replaced by diesels.
Because it took so long to get them up to speed,
yes,
so to speak.
Exactly.
Who's this fellow right here?
This is Kevin Zimmerman.
Hi, Kevin. What's his title?
He's our designated supervisor of locomotive engineers.
Oh my gosh, that's a big title, and you've got on a clean white shirt.
Well, it used to be clean. It was clean when I started. It'll be dirty by the day's end.
What goes on down here? This is the heart and soul of the roundhouse, isn't it?
This is probably the funnest part of the job, is coming down here early in the morning and getting this thing going. There's nobody in here but us and the ghosts, and we get to play with them.
You got to understand why this is such a treat for those of us who aren't around it all the time, to be able to come in a place like this. The sight, the sound, the smell, the steam rising up.
Oh, absolutely. And probably the funnest part of our job is when we get to see the little kids come in. We'll let them come in the roundhouse, and their eyes get that big around.
Yeah.
And they get a big smile on their face, and you know that they're bugging mom and dad. They want to come back next week.
Are you a volunteer?
Yes, sir.
What do you do during your regular?
I work in a grocery store.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm playing hooky today.
Are these guys?
Don't tell the boss.
Your secret is safe with us. Let's go down here. Look at this. We got, what's going on down here, fellas? What are we talking about down here?
It's a meeting.
It's a meeting. What are we talking about? Locomotives?
Well, we talk about everything you can think of around here. Yeah.
Are you all trained guys?
I am. And he's learning. He's learning. I've been here since 71.
You've been here since 71?
Yeah, I started working for Crocker in 71 here in the shop.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you go back
a couple days.
I started about 10 years ago. I worked here for 3 years, and then I went traveling around the country. Then I came back to work on the number 3, and I worked on the number 3 for about 2.5 years.
It gets in your blood, doesn't it?
Well, it does, and it's in my history, too. I grew up in Tuolumne, and both my grandfathers worked for Westside, which was the last narrow-gauge logging railroad to go out of business in the western United States.
Yeah.
So, it gets in your blood.
Yeah, this is old school right here.
And it's all original. It's all original.
Here's a guy, I bet you're giving a tour, aren't you?
I'm giving a tour, yes I am.
And what kind of questions? Are they asking good trained questions?
I've asked him a while ago, because I gave him the answer when he was back up on the dock. And when they came in, I asked him a question about this car.
Do you know much about?
I know nothing. I'm totally ignorant.
Well, why are you here?
To learn.
To learn. See, there you go. And that's the whole point, isn't it?
That's it.
Look at this. Now we've come out of the roundhouse, and we are coming up to the top of this little hill to look back at it. Is this the front or the back of the roundhouse?
This is really the back of the roundhouse. The business end is where the turntable is.
Where we started the program.
Where we started, yes.
From here, you couldn't tell what this was.
Yeah, and we actually have a lot of visitors who come and ride the train and never really even walk down here because it was built as an industrial work site. It is an industrial work site, and the idea back then was to keep people out. Today we're a park, so we have to balance that and try to attract people down to see what's going on.
So interesting, because really, standing right here, you wouldn't have a clue what this was.
Well, you can hear all those loud noises.
Yeah, you'd be curious what's going on in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look over here, you got the picnic tables, you got the green grass, you got the beautiful trees. This is what enhances this whole idea of this being a state historic park.
Yes, and we do some really neat things like we have a railroad music festival we do out here on the lawn where we have people singing historic railroad songs, because all throughout American history we have amazing...
throughout California history.
Throughout California history, exactly. Well, everywhere. Trains are in so many songs in our culture. And so this is a perfect setting for that, and it helps people see that it's not just a history for rail fans, it's a history for all Californians.
Wow, this is so beautiful. Let's step out of the way and just get a shot of this. The old roundhouse from the front. Looking at it like this, you'd never know what was going on out back, but there's a lot going on out back. Okay, we've hooked up with George Sapp, who is, well, you're an expert in restoring old steam locomotives, right, George?
That's right.
So you've worked on a lot of locomotives in this roundhouse over the years.
Oh yeah, all of them.
Well, I hate to tell you, I think you got your work cut out for you right here.
Piece of cake. Piece of cake. Easy. That's
you look
easy.
at that and see what, 5 years, 10 years worth of work?
I see cubic dollars is what I see.
Yeah. What do you mean cubic dollars?
That's what it takes.
Yeah.
Cubic dollars.
It does take money, but isn't a lot of this work volunteer work?
Yeah. But still, a lot of the work is contracted out. The boiler work, some of it needs to be contracted out, and so that's it doesn't come cheap.
You got to raise the money. What's the history behind this? Does it have a history?
Well, it was built for a railroad here in California, but it most recently came in 1948 to a local lumber mill up the railroad. The Pickering Lumber Company bought it in 1948. It's a real, I like to call it, it's a late locomotive. It's a 1926. This is the newest steam engine we have on the property here.
But boy, it's got such character to it.
Yeah.
They almost look better old and run down like this than they do when you get through with them.
Well, you got two camps. You know, the photographers love the old patina that it has over the years, but most people like to see them run and not like them all glitzy. So.
Do you think you can, is this one, if we came back here in a couple of years, would this one be running?
You better give me 3.
Suspense is building. One of the historic steam engines is getting ready to come out of the historic roundhouse. But George, before the steam engine can come out of the roundhouse, we got to do something over here.
I think we better line up the turntable, otherwise it's going to go in that hole over there.
So this is the turntable.
Yep.
It was turned. How many engines were in that roundhouse at a time?
It would hold 6 locomotives at one time.
So it can line up with any one of those bays there to get the engine out.
But this is the only way in and out of the roundhouse. This is it.
All right, let's get going. Do I need to hold on?
Well, we'll
see.
How
fast does this thing move?
88 miles an hour.
Oh, look at this. Sounds good too. Look at this. So we're lined up exactly with, he's lining it, it's perfectly aligned. Would there have been a person whose skill was turning this around?
Well, that's a pretty basic skill. I would hope everybody that worked here would have that skill.
Well, it's basic, but you got to be right on the money here.
Well, the biggest thing is keeping your feet away from the rails, because you could lose a foot real easy.
Yeah, okay, so now we've moved around and we're getting ready to watch the historic engine, steam engine, come out of the roundhouse. This is going to be fun. Here it comes. Oh boy, look at the old engine coming out of the roundhouse. Can we step over here, George, and take a look?
Sure.
Boy, it looks so beautiful in the light of day. We've just seen it inside where it's kind of dark. You're giving instructions. You don't want it to go too far, right?
I want to go a little bit further so we can give it a walk around.
Come on back just a little bit more. It's easier to say than to do, isn't it?
Well, when it's cold, it doesn't respond as it does when it's hot. So you have a lot of steam condensing there, so it doesn't have the same feel.
Whoa. There we go. Look at this. Let's talk a little bit about it, because this is your pride and joy, Sierra Railway number 3. What's the deal, George?
Well, this engine was the original, one of the original engines that came to this railroad in 1897. This was helped build the railroad, actually. It's been here the whole time. It's a wonderful engine. It's been out of service since 1996, but we recently restored it. It took about 3 years, hard 3 years.
Hard work.
Hard work, hard labor.
You totally restored the whole thing.
It's got a brand new boiler on it.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it looks like it always did.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we kept the same look.
Now, over the years, this has been a workhorse. It's also been a movie star.
Yeah, it was discovered by Hollywood pretty early. About 1919, there was a movie series called The Red Glove. There's no known copies of it, but it is documented. The best known early film that it was in was The Virginia, 1929. It was actually the first offstage sound production that Hollywood ever attempted. The Virginia, 1929. Yeah.
With this
engine.
Yeah,
so go rent it.
And then in later years, it was on television.
Oh yeah, Petticoat Junction made it famous. We all remember that.
Come ride the little train that is rolling down the tracks to the junction. Forget about your cares, it is time to relax at the junction. Lots of curves, you bet, and even more when you get to the junction.
Petticoat Junction.
And of course, high noon. This is the whistle on this locomotive. That's the voice you hear in high noon. That defining moment when the showdown. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
So how often? This just came back into service.
It was the July 4th weekend, 2010.
Yeah. So this is the pride and joy.
It's our flagship. Yeah.
Wow. Now, why is it the flagship? Just because of its history and its beauty and...
Its history, its beauty, it's a survivor. There's no good reason for it to have survived. During World War II, it sat on the scrap heap. And then after World War II, Hollywood made a couple of inquiries, and one of the inquiries apparently had to do with, back then it was just scrap metal. A lot of movie companies were wrecking steam engines just because it was fun. It was a good splash on the screen. Well, somebody came to the master mechanic and said, hey, how about this? Can we wreck it for you? And he said, hell no, but we can get it going for you. He says, okay, we'll take that. And so they actually restored it to service. 1948, it returned to service.
So it's actually escaped the wrecker's ball.
Sure did. 2
or 3 or 4 times in its life.
Yeah, since the early 30s, during the Depression, it was sidelined over here on this track next to the oil, well, basically where the oil tank car
Just sat there.
Just sat there, yeah.
Well, it's not sitting here anymore.
Sat there for about 15 years. There's a lot of pictures of it over there.
It's not sitting around anymore. Nope. It's running. And we're getting ready to, the real payoff of this whole trip. You know what? It's fun just watching you look at it.
It's my girlfriend.
Yeah. Oh boy, here goes old number 3 onto the turntable. You said this was something worth seeing.
Oh yeah.
Most people don't see something like this. Now he's still got to go back a few more. Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, baby.
Look at that. And look at all this water coming out. There's a lot of steam, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, it takes water to make steam.
So it's still got it's still not quite there yet. Boy, look, this gets very precise, doesn't it?
Yeah, you don't want to wind up in the dirt.
Oh, there he goes. Perfect. Perfect.
Nice.
Now, it's going to turn, right?
Yeah, they have to pull the key out first.
There it goes. But wait a minute, it's going the wrong way.
Well, no, it's going the right way.
So it's going to back off the turntable.
Correct.
See, I'm not a train man. I don't know all these things. Train man would have known that, wouldn't he?
Well, not necessarily. Don't feel bad.
Here it comes. Boy, it's very dramatic seeing it with a big old steam engine on it. Now wait a minute.
Oh, they're going. Where are they going? Maybe they're just having fun.
They're just doing this for the cameras.
I think they are. Well, they have a big group of people here that came out.
Look over here. We got a lot of people watching.
They're showing it off. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, look at this. They're showing it off. They're taking it all the way around. They're doing a 180, a 360.
360.
Boy, look at that engine all lined up. That's beautiful.
This is kind of like the old car dealerships. You know, they had the car in the showroom on the turntable. Remember that?
That's what you all are doing with Well, you know what? You've worked on it so long and so hard.
I'm pretty proud of it.
It's okay to show it off a little bit. They're boarding up on the train, and Kim, this is one of the more exciting, you know, just getting on the trains is exciting.
Yes, it is. When the conductor calls all aboard, that's classic, right?
And you know what? People were surging forward. Everybody wants to get on board, don't they?
Yeah, you can feel the anticipation. When the train comes into the station, we have to do some business with the air brakes, and so everyone can see that happening, and it starts building the excitement. And
everybody wants to get on board. Everybody wants to, and get a good seat.
Yes.
Window seat.
All the seats are good.
Oh, of course. And look down here. Give us a wave. Everybody's excited. They're boarding up on the train, getting ready to take off. All aboard. Wait a minute, this is confusing. The engine is facing the wrong way. It's supposed to be pulling the train that way.
This isn't a diesel. Diesels go the same either direction, right? Forward and backward are exactly the same. But we're pulling the train down the line, and then it'll unhook, and the locomotive will go onto the front and will come into the station. Well, it depends on where you need to go. You can only turn around if you have a turntable at the other end, and there's no turntable at the other end.
So this is going to pull the train?
Yes.
But the locomotive is going backwards.
Exactly. All the way down.
I'm confused. Do a lot of people get confused about this?
Not really.
Oh. Here we go. Boy, look at the steam coming out down here. Wow. The engine's going backwards, but it's going forwards, right?
That's correct. And what we do is we pull the train out. Since the train is marked this way with a back-end car, we have to back up.
All right.
But when we get out to the quarry, we're going to switch it around for you.
Switch it around.
Right.
Now, you're the car host.
That's correct.
Oh, boy, it got quiet all of a sudden. I like that.
It'll get noisy in a minute.
Look at this. This is brass.
This here is all brass. This is the way the car was originally made by the Tuolumne Company back in 1910. This car is going to be 100 years old this December.
But you told me it wasn't always shiny like this.
That's correct, because during the war years, this car was used as a caboose car between San Francisco and San Jose. And so it was painted olive drab, so during the war years, they couldn't spot it for the airplanes.
So you cleaned all this off?
Polished it all off.
Lined it up.
Right.
And you've restored this entire car that we're riding in right now. This car dates back to when?
The car dates back to 1910. And it was restored here at Jamestown now about 15 years ago. It was brought here in very, very bad condition, and the volunteers at Railtown restored it to the condition it is in today.
So everything here has had several lives.
That's
some
correct.
of them good lives, some of them bad lives.
That's correct. This one happened to have a good life because in its early years, it was on the Overland Limited between San Francisco and San Jose. It was a first-class train. Not just a first-class car, but a first-class train.
A first-class California train.
That's correct.
Boy, look at this. We're coming by the old water tank. Oh, man, this is beautiful. Going through the countryside like this, with the steam, with the bell ringing. This is the real thing. Okay, now we've come inside the observation car. Here on the front two seats here are two gentlemen who have quite a good train story to tell. Your name, sir, is?
Gary Hossman.
Now, you're one of the volunteers here at Railtown.
Yes.
What kind of things have you done over the years on the trains?
Worked on the engines, worked on this car, refinished the inside. Then we worked on a caboose. We've been working on a caboose for 4 years.
So you've had your hands full.
Yes.
Good work?
Yes, good work. Very
fun work.
Fun work.
You're not getting rich off of it. You're volunteering, right?
Yeah, they don't put any more on my check for working on anything.
You're sitting next to a fella. You've known this little fella for a long time.
Yeah, he's been coming here since he was real small.
Well, he's not much bigger now. What's your name?
Sean Berry.
Okay, you've been coming to Railtown a long time.
Yeah, since I was 3.
Are you a train man?
Yes.
What is a train man?
Someone who really loves trains.
And why do you love trains? What is it? Is it the steam? Is it the sound? Is it the history? What is it?
Just how they look and how the steam and everything.
Yeah, it kind of gets in your blood, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This is the future.
Yes, this is what we're recruiting him now. We're training him.
They're going to sign you up and put you to work.
Yeah, Ron White, who works here, he said he's waiting for me to be 18 because he wants to retire so I can take his job.
So you got to be 18 before they can put you to work here.
Yep.
A few more years, but you've got him.
We'll keep track of him.
Absolutely. This is a lot of fun. How do you describe this to people watching it at home on television?
Well, gotta come down here. It's really fun. Just when you see all the history of this railroad. Wow.
Here's the observation car. Everybody give us a wave. Lots of happy train riders today. And boy, that whistle makes some noise, doesn't it? Here's the action in here in the observation car, the open car. Look at this. They're having a party back here. It's a party back here.
Yes, it is a party.
You like this?
I've never played these before. Never done this before.
I bet you've ridden a train before, though, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
This brings back the old days of the train, doesn't it?
It is.
You having fun? You having fun?
A lot of fun.
I
Kids
think
enjoy
the
it.
kids like this, don't they?
Absolutely.
There never has been a kid who doesn't like to ride on a train.
Definitely.
But I think the parents do, too.
Oh, we love it.
I was going to interview them, but I don't think I can get them to stop, and I don't think anybody wants them to stop. You having fun?
Pretty good fun.
You having fun?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Oh, now they're finishing up. Boy! Now, wait a minute. Did this used to happen on the train? This never happened on the train.
Right, no, the old fiddlers and old trains go together there. That's what
Wow. And people love the idea of music on the train.
Yes, they do. And
Oh, look out here, Cameron. Look at the countryside. We've been so busy talking with
there's
people.
Woods Creek right there. That's where they pulled a lot of gold out in the old days. That's right.
This is beautiful countryside.
Absolutely.
It's time for the blackberries right now, too. They're all in season.
Wow.
Makes you want to jump off the train and go pick them.
All right, have you got another train song? Let's hear a good train song. I'll get out of the way. Let's hear them play a little train music. This is exciting. We've stopped, and the engine is now switching so that it's going to be pulling us back, going in the right direction.
That's correct.
And this guy knows what he's talking about because he is the conductor.
That's right.
What does the conductor do?
The conductor is kind of like the captain of the ship on a ship. So he's in charge of the whole thing. Technically, the engineer is in charge of the engine and the engine crew. And the conductor's in charge of everybody, all the employees and all the passengers and everybody.
Making sure everybody's happy. Boy, you got some happy ones right over here looking at this engine come by.
That's the neat part about this, because this is not what I expected to do when I retired from the Santa Fe.
Really? So you're a trained man, though?
I'm a retired locomotive engineer from the Santa Fe. I went to work for him in 1951.
Let's walk over here. Come on over here. This is great. We can't get enough of this. What, have you got something you got to do?
I do.
You've got official responsibilities.
Right,
what are you going to do?
I'm going to bring the train back, throw the switch, bring the train back, and couple it on.
So you have to throw the switch too?
Yeah.
You do everything.
I do everything.
He's the conductor. There he goes. Tommy is throwing the switch. He did it, and now the engine is going to back up. We're going through this thing step by step. Everybody's got a job to do. This is a serious operation here.
I just love the way Tommy rides on the back of the locomotive there. This is a man who's done this for 50 years, and there's just poetry in the way he hangs there.
He's a trained man.
He is, look at that.
Look at him.
He's signaling the engineer right now.
A lot of this is with hand signals, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of people use radios in the modern world, but we take a lot of pride in perpetuating the hand signals.
Now what's he doing over here?
He's going to signal to the engineer to couple the locomotive.
Wow.
3 toots means backing up.
Boy, this is a precision operation. Look at this.
Ready for the crash.
Oh, look, it's going to hit. Perfect. Perfect.
He's good, isn't he? He's the best there is.
But he took his direction from you.
Yeah, well, that's the way it goes. It's a combined effort of a lot of people to get these things in and out.
Wind up.
There we go. We're moving. Boy, now we've done it. We've come into the old engine number 3 itself. Oh my gosh. Look at this piece of equipment, and look who's the engineer, George. Our old friend George.
How you doing?
And boy, you're really smiling now. You're in the catbird seat.
Yep. This is gonna make me famous.
Tell us what we're experiencing right here.
Well, right now we have a slight downgrade. There's a big grade coming up, so it's going to get kind of loud. We're just coasting downgrade right now, but pretty soon we're going to start to work the engine a bit.
You know what? It's hot standing right here.
Yeah, but it's a dry heat.
Oh. But really, I mean, this is very hot, isn't it?
It's a little warm.
What kind of fire have we got going down here?
Just a little one, but here we go.
Oh, so now look at this. You're opening up the throttle. Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. It's impossible. I'm afraid to talk to him. You can't hear me? George, can you hear me? Really? I've never experienced anything like this before.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah. Oh my God.
This is amazing.
What?
This is amazing.
This is amazing. Look at this. Look at the steam coming out. Fire, steam, water, all kind of gears. Look at this. And George is keeping his eye on the track. Boy, did we have fun at Railtown 1897 State Historic Park riding that wonderful old steam locomotive, old number 3. But let's face it, riding something like that, especially when you're up in the cab like we were, it gets you excited. It gets your adrenaline level way up. So we've decided that we need to end this road trip by bringing everything down a couple of notches. And what better way to mellow out than with a glass of wine, local wine. And here to tell us about it, your top there says Wine Goddess, but I'm sure that's not your formal name. Well, maybe it is, but...
No, that's not my formal name. My formal name is Lori Ginelli.
And?
Ron Ginelli.
Okay, we are standing here. Look at this. This is spectacular. This is the newest vineyard in this part of California, in Jamestown. Yes. It's also revolutionary in its way. Tell us why this is so special.
Well, we are unique because we have 28 acres of Italian varietals. We have 16 different Italian varietals.
Now, wait a minute. What are Italian varietals doing in California?
Oh, well, they should have been here a long time ago.
How'd you get them here?
Well, there's a nursery back in Venice, basically, Sorrento, and they've hooked up with another outfit in Santa Rosa, and we've picked them all up there. Otherwise, we wouldn't been able to do it. So they came in nice and clean, and UC Davis gave them their blessing, and otherwise we wouldn't be able to do this.
So this is Italian. These are Italian vines growing here.
Absolutely. They are Italian varietals.
And what kind of wine are you making here?
Oh my gosh. Well, right now we are drinking our Sangiovese. It's a Super Tuscan. We have a Dolcetto, we have a Primitivo, a Nebbiolo, Aglianico, Montepulciano, just to name a few.
Is this California wine or California Italian wine?
This is Italian wine.
Grown in California.
Grown in California, you bet, in Tuolumne County, Jamestown.
So it all kind of fits together.
Fits for us.
Well, it's going to fit for me in just a minute, because there's no better way to end this road trip than with this wonderful Italian wine here in Gold Country. We have had an absolutely wonderful time in Jamestown, meeting the people, seeing the sights, and then ending up here in this beautiful vineyard at the end of the day, drinking some good wine. Cheers.
Salute.
Salute, of course. It's Italian. We've had a wonderful time. All right, let's drink it up a little bit.
All right.
Boy, that'll mellow you out.
Oh, it does. It does.
Look yonder coming down that railroad track. Look yonder coming down that railroad track. It's the Orange Blossom Special, bringing my baby back.
Doesn't get any better than California Gold Country. You got to go to Tuolumne County and visit Jamestown. See it for yourself. And while you're there, of course, visit that beautiful historic state park and ride the train. Check the schedule and make sure you go on a day the steam train is running. Now, if you'd like to go on this particular adventure again or share it with family or friends, it's available on DVD. All you have to do is call 1-800-266-5727, and we'll be glad to send it to you right away. All aboard!
Road Trip with Huell has been made possible by the Automobile Club of Southern California.
Wherever you're headed on your next road trip, the Auto Club knows the territory. For travel tips or comprehensive destination information, as well as booking your next family vacation, our website is a great first stop on any journey, no matter how far away your destination may be. Through all life's travels, we're always with you.